to everyone out there on YouTube. I'm also going to go live on IG. My name is Makeda Valletta, also known as the Renaissance Amazon. Okay. So if you don't follow me on IG, you can follow me at the_Renaissance_Amazon_81. Okay. Let's go. Woo. Oops. Okay. So hello to everybody on IG and YouTube. Okay. Let me get my camera right. Okay. So it's Makeda Valletta. I just wanted to do, let me fix this YouTube camera, hold on. Okay, so I just wanted to have a discussion today about sex trafficking. This is, the little that I've heard sex trafficking, this has kind of been on my mind, and just now I was listening to the Breakfast Club interview with Centauria Brown, the girl who got life for killing this man. I'm still kind of confused about the details of it. But I can say that as I was listening to her interview in the Breakfast Club, I began to get more and more turned off by her. And I began to think that she really was not that smart of a girl, and she's trying to play victim. And I say this because I'm listening to her interview. Okay, so I'm gonna say I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert at all on sex trafficking, right? But whenever I've heard people talk about sex trafficking, it never made sense to me. Because every time I heard people talk about it, to me it always seems like they willingly went into that situation. Every time I've heard people talk about it, it never sounds like somebody kidnapped them. Just like R. Kelly. R. Kelly didn't put a gun to their head. They walked into that, okay? Willingly. Every time I've heard people tell their sex trafficking story, it has confused me. Because I'm like, I thought it was something where you were doing it against your will, but it seems like these girls leave their house willingly. I remember hearing a sex trafficking story in the past about a girl who had a mother and a father. She climbed out the window and willingly went. Her parents tried to get her back, but she wouldn't come back. Centauria Brown, okay? She says, Charlamagne and DJ Envy, they both have 3 daughters. So they're asking her, like, okay, so, how was your home life? And she's like, she had her mother and her father. They were strict. They always took her to church. Her father was ex-military. So she says that she didn't have any mommy, daddy issues at home. And so Charlamagne kept saying, well, what needed to be different in your childhood that could have prevented this? And she's like, oh, I don't think, when kids act up, people always point at the parents. But she was like, you can't always control your kids. You can only do the best you can, and blah, 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 blah. And she talks about how when she was growing up, she kept being in juvenile and getting kicked out of class because she was disruptive. And she says, well, they never tried to figure out what was wrong with me. They just pushed me to the side and blah, blah, blah. And that shit pissed me off. Because if you're a badass kid, the school should not be spending a whole bunch of time trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with you. That's for your parents to do, okay? Teachers are underpaid. Teachers are underpaid and stressed. They have to get lesson plans together. They have to grade your shit. And then when kids are bad, they got to call parents. They got to deal with parents threatening them because 2019, people side with the kids more than they side with the teachers, and teachers are coming out of pocket. Teachers are already overworked and underpaid. So now you expect them to sit and try to figure out what the fuck is wrong with you. No, because when you're a kid, you're supposed to shut the fuck up and listen to adults, period, point blank. If you go to Jamaica, or you go to Africa, or you go to China, and you try to be disruptive in class, they're not going to sit there for fucking 10 hours trying to figure out what the fuck your problem is. No. Okay? People these days baby these kids too much, okay? And I didn't like it with her because she seemed like she was constantly trying to put it on somebody else instead of taking responsibility for the fact that she fully put herself into that situation, okay? So she says she tells this guy, I think she lied about her age. This is another thing. Young girls lying about their age to older men and then getting mad later saying this man was taking advantage of you or taking advantage of a minor, but he thought you were grown. So when you go out in the streets, and you try to play adult shit, you want to lie about your age, that's what the fuck can happen. Now, in the story, I didn't understand because at first I thought she killed the man who was sex trafficking her, but it seems that that's not it. It seems that she killed a man that was supposed to be a customer, and I don't even know what this man did to her that made her shoot him and kill him. But she put herself in that situation. This man didn't snatch her up and start raping her and then she killed him. No. You can't put yourself in an adult situation and then when adult shit happens, you want to murder somebody. Like, I don't think that's cool. And she talks about how, like, when she first got arrested, she was, the dude that she was in a relationship with, who she thought she was in a relationship with, who she thought was her man, who was sex trafficking her or whatever, which to me, none of that shit makes any sense why you would even do that shit, right? But she also admitted that she found out she was adopted. And right before this happened, and when she found out she was adopted, she said that she really started getting obsessed with men being attracted to her and how men saw her. And she started going out there into the street. She said her mother begged her to come home so many times. She said she could hear her mother's voice right now, crying and begging with her on the phone to come home. So she had parents who loved her. She had parents that wanted her to come home. She chose to go out in the street and put herself in that situation. She chose to stay with this dude, even after she killed this man, right? Like, okay, so you would a dude who put you in a situation that caused you to murder somebody. Now you murdered this man, and the dude who put you in a situation who's supposed to be your dude is testifying against you, throwing you under the bus. He don't give a fuck. He's moved on to the next shit. But you are sitting in jail trying to defend him because you don't want to testify against him because you don't want to tell on him. If that's not one of the dumbest, I'm sorry, but I don't feel sorry for her. I don't. Then she said she thought because she was a minor, okay, that she couldn't get in trouble. She said all the adults told her around her that, oh, you can't, no, you're a kid, you just take it because you won't get in trouble. You won't get in trouble. She said, I thought because I was a minor, I couldn't get in trouble. I never knew I could be facing life in jail. Yo, bitch, how do you think you can murder somebody and you're not going to get in trouble? And you live down south. She lived in like Tennessee or something. The southern states really don't play with that shit. So I'm like, she just sounded really dumb to me. Like, the more she talked, she was saying, the shit she was saying sounded stupid. I didn't like the fact that you were, see, when I was in school, I was a good student, okay? I cared about my schoolwork, okay? I cared about my grades. And I was the kind of person, when I was in school, I would have cursed you the fuck out if you were being disruptive and interrupting my education. I worked in a school in Pittsburgh 10 years ago. And I remember there was always like one or two kids that wouldn't shut the fuck up. So it was disrupting me from teaching the rest of the class. You got other kids in class who want to learn, okay? You got other kids in class who want to learn. So you being disruptive, nobody's going to sit there and spend an hour talking to you about your fucking problems. And I think it's ridiculous that people put that kind of responsibility on a teacher. Like, oh, the teachers, she keeps saying the teachers, they didn't want to figure it out. The teachers, but she was a bad kid. She was a bad kid. She talks about all the trouble she got into. Like, only bad kids get into that kind of trouble. But I will say, it may not have been the parenting, or it may have been, because I think all that really churchy shit backfires. Like, everybody who was raised like up in the church, do the most fucked up, scandalous shit. So I don't believe that's a good recipe if you want good kids that got some sense. But they usually rebel against that. But I will say that since she was adopted, people underestimate the power of genetics, okay? People underestimate the power of genetics because sometimes, like, her biological parents might be nuts, and sometimes it's just that. Sometimes you're a nut because your parents are a nut, but she doesn't know her parents, so she doesn't know. So I think it could be genetic. But I just think that, I never really looked so much into that Centauria Brown, or however you pronounce the name, situation. Somebody said, you're supporting this racist injustice system. The fact is, she was still a child. First of all, if the justice system is so racist, then how did OJ get off? OJ got off in cold motherfucking blood, okay? OJ murdered a white woman and he got off, okay? So I don't know how racist it is. I think that the justice system has to do with money. And I think that whoever has the most money will get off, independent of race, okay? OJ Simpson murdered a white woman. But because he was a beloved football player and he had tons of money, he got away with cold-blooded fucking murder, okay? And like, you shouldn't, you put yourself in a situation, like, nobody kidnapped this girl. She said herself in the interview, okay? She said herself in the interview that she chose to go out there, that she thought, oh, I know what I'm doing. She said even when she was in her 20s, she didn't feel like she was a victim. She said other people put it in her head that, no, you were a victim. So now she's saying, I was a victim. But she said for years, she didn't see herself like a victim. And she said that because, you know why? When you listen to her story, she put herself in that situation. This is not a case of somebody snatching you up. I hope my YouTube shit is still working. And I hate stupid people. OJ definitely killed somebody, so shut up with that dumb shit. I was a teenage girl once, and I remember when I was 16 and 15, I knew what I was doing. I remember girls my age messing with grown dudes, lying about their age and everything. Now, granted, I want to say I had a father, I had a mom, maybe that's why I was like that, but I also have friends that had a father who did that shit. Now, this girl said she came from a good home, she didn't grow up with any problems or traumas, and she chose to go out in the street because her father was strict, he was military. She wanted to go out in the street where people would accept whatever behavior she had. She had an issue because people used to ask her why she is not the same color as her parents. I don't know what color her parents are. But to me, people using that, oh, I got made fun of bullshit. What kid didn't get made fun of, okay? What kid didn't get made fun of? Every kid got fucking made fun of. Okay, so kids made fun of you. Whoop-de-doo. Like, every kid got made fun of. Okay. So you got made fun of, and your dad was too strict. So you decide to rebel and go out in the street, get with a dude, prostitute yourself until you're in a situation. And she even lied to the cops. So the cops came. She told them she was 19. So if you're lying to the cops, I'm sure you're lying to everybody else. So the man that she murdered, she never said what the man did to her. She just said she felt uncomfortable and felt like she couldn't leave, so she shot him. She didn't say what he did to make her feel like she couldn't leave. She never said anything like that. So for all we know, she could have been a crazy-ass, nutty teenage girl. And honestly, her track record, that's what she sounds like. And I always tell people, every time there's a school shooter, I always tell people need to listen to school teachers, okay? If you go back to the school teachers, if every kid ends up being a murderer, okay, the teachers will tell you they were fucked up since they were kids, okay? But people don't believe what teachers say. People think teachers have no knowledge. Teachers know kids more than parents. Fuck raising kids. Teachers know more about kids than their parents do, And she said that since she was a kid, she was getting kept out of school. She was bad. She was getting sent to juvie and all kinds of shit. And then she wants to keep crying, oh, the school didn't figure out what's wrong with me. Bitch, take responsibility for your own actions. That's ridiculous. When my parents came up, my dad was born and raised in segregated South. None of that shit was an excuse. First of all, you would act bad at school, they would have beat your ass. Nobody was going to sit around and for 2 days and figure out what's your problem. That's not the job of the school. And that's incredibly selfish for her to keep pointing blame at. Instead of her saying, I shouldn't have been such a bad, hard-headed motherfucking kid. Okay? I put myself in this situation because I went out trying to be grown when I wasn't grown. I put myself in a situation. Even after she put herself in that situation and murdered a man, she was still trying to defend the dude who was pimping her. That is dumb, and motherfucking dumb. Okay? Then she says, oh, people can't say what they would do if they were in that situation because I used to say, I'm not going to let a man hit me. I'm not going to let it. And she said that she always said that, but then she did. Let me tell you something. I've always said, ain't no man gonna hit me, and it's never happened. I've been in situations where I've been around dudes that I felt like were capable of getting violent, and I got quiet and I got away from them as quickly as possible. Never to see them again, okay? Never to see them again, no matter what they say or what the fuck goes on. No, okay? So if you chose to be in a relationship with a dude who's beating your ass and you stay with him, don't put that fucking victim shit. I'm sorry. Every woman in the world, every single woman in the world, okay, who has been in an abusive relationship with a man, and he's been beating your ass, and you stay with him for years, making excuses. I'm sorry, but you get no sympathy from me. I don't have sympathy for those fucking stories. I don't. I would never understand it. I don't care how much you want to talk about, oh, well, you know, they all say the same thing. You think you did something wrong, and you think you can make it better, and you think if you just do this, all that shit sounds dumb, okay? Dumb. Men are way stronger than women, way stronger. If a chick hit me, if a girl hit me, I'm not fucking with you ever again, okay? We ain't cool, we ain't friends, we ain't shit. Now, if a dude hits me, are you fucking kidding? Men have man strength. Men are so much stronger than women. Even a man who's my size is so much stronger than me, okay? So there's no way I'm gonna be with some dude beating my ass. I'm gonna stay with him. I'm gonna defend him. She talked about how she went to jail in the past. She was in jail crying for him. Bitch, you sound dumb. You sound dumb. And then people want to, oh, it's a trauma bond. Fuck all that shit. The pain that you feel from a man hitting you should be enough to wake your ass up and get the fuck out of there, okay? So when you choose to leave your loving home, go out in the streets and do fucking grown-up shit, your parents are begging you to come home, and you could have gone home. It's not like you didn't have nowhere to go. You know, you've been a fucking pain in the ass for everybody that's been around you, your school teachers, everybody, since you were a kid. Now you're stressing out your parents who adopted you. Oh, lucky you. A lot of kids don't even get adopted. So you got adopted, but because, you know, you couldn't be grateful for that. You couldn't be grateful for the two adults who adopted you and chose to take care of you when your own parents wouldn't. Instead, you stress them the fuck out, run away, put yourself in that situation, and get murder charges. I'm sorry, I don't like that story, and I don't think that it's a very empowering story. I don't feel like it's an important story to tell unless you just want to use it as an example of a fucking train wreck of a fuck up, okay? That's it. If you want to use it as an example to other young girls, stop trying to be grown. And then she said, oh, people just say girls are just fast and they just hot in the pants. Blah, blah. Yeah, that's true, okay? If you're talking about a grown woman, like as a me, I'm a grown-ass woman. I can do what the fuck I want, right? Because I'm a grown-ass woman. But if you are a little girl or you're a teenager and you're running around, you know, you're running around trying to have sex with grown men, you are hot in the pants, okay? You are fast. And you are doing too much, period. So stop with the, oh, it's not my responsibility. And she's like, oh, people always want to have the victim blaming. Sometimes it's the victim's fault. Sometimes it is the victim's fucking fault, okay? If you choose to walk into the motherfucking cave of darkness and stay there when you can leave, then you put yourself in that situation. Stop trying to point the finger at everybody else. She sounds to me like somebody who cannot take responsibility for what she did. She never even, I didn't hear in the interview, I mean, I actually watched half of it. I had to stop because it was getting on my nerves. It was so stupid. But she never said the dude that she murdered, what he did to her. Like she said, he picked her up on the street. She didn't want to have sex with him and she felt like she couldn't escape. She didn't say what he did. You know, he picked you up in the street. He didn't kidnap you. You got in this man's car because you were trying to be pimped by the dude you was with. You know what I'm saying? So for all we know, the man that she murdered may not have deserved it. He may not have known what the fuck, that he was dealing with a scared kid. You know what I'm saying? But for her, it's I was the victim. But I in a non-responsibility taking kind of way. She's on some I like everybody did something to her. And she played no role in the situation. And that's one thing I can't stand. So I'm going to say the sex trafficking thing, I'm not an expert on it, but every time I hear somebody talk about it, I can tell you the shit never makes any sense. Every time I hear somebody talk about it, the girl says that she willingly left her parents' home and went. If you're doing shit like that, I'm sorry, but the whole conversation, you missed me with that. Maybe I'm just not a naive woman. Maybe I'm too smart. I don't know, but I just don't relate to girls in those fucking stories. I just don't. You gotta take responsibility for your shit. So I have a different opinion about this girl, and I'm actually turned off by her. The more I heard this girl, Centauria Brown, talk on the Breakfast Club, the more turned off I was by her, the less sympathy I had for her, and the more dumb she sounded to me. So you go ahead, take a look at the Breakfast Club interview, tell me what your thoughts are, okay? And don't get caught up in a sex trafficking. If you get caught up in that shit on purpose, it's your fault, okay? Deadass. All right, have a good day, people. Peace.